So, good evening everybody and welcome to the TNGTC round number 3 here at the Circuit of the Americas. Obviously, last time out at Watkins Glen, lots of chaos and very good racing and some good results from people that were unexpected. But here at COTA, different story. The curbs are a nightmare and the cars with straight line speed should do well, especially in the first couple of sectors. With me tonight is Liam McEwen, who will be commentating alongside me. Liam, how are you tonight, mate?
I'm very good. Looking forward to a good night of racing and hopefully some close racing.
Should be very close around here, to be honest, with the slipstream down that back straight as we're watching Gaza 1, 2, 3. Or Gaz, as more commonly known in the R8. A stand-in for Benji tonight, as he's elsewhere. The number 28 Audi. Come into the...
As the 5-time champion, season 3 through to 7, making a one-off appearance and is looking like the strong favourite as he always was.
Yeah, definitely. I think most people are backing Gaz to win at least the first race here tonight and to take pole position for the feature in that R8. A lovely car to drive. The R8, very, very quick. But he's going to have competition, I think, tonight. I don't think he's going to walk it. I'm going to be honest.
No, of course you're going to have Dean in the Mercedes, Adam, his teammate for tonight, both the Porsche guys. They're both going to want to try and prove that if they can do something, it's not just cause in every other round Gaz is messing. He is the benchmark for most drivers, and if they can beat him tonight, they can carry a lot of confidence into the rest of the season.
I'm going to be honest, Rob in that Mercedes as well. I mean, he had a bad outing last time at Watkins Glen, but he did show very good pace. I think he was a bit of a dark horse tonight around here.
Yeah, of course, he qualified, was it 3rd last week, I believe?
I believe it was, yeah.
So he definitely has the pace in the car, but he kept making a couple of little errors in the race, so hopefully he's ironed them out for this week and he can get some solid points on the board.
Speaking of points, I'm going to quickly get up the standings, as it's always interesting to know what's going on in that. So after Watkins Glen, Adam Morris is leading the championship with 26 points. Nathan is second with 22. Dean with 21 because he won the race in the feature. Benji is 4th. Now, Benji won't score any points from Gaz. Gaz is only scoring team points tonight. Ben Milden is in 5th with 17 points. Paul Scott with 13 in 6th. Jamie right behind him on 12. Papano is on 11 in 8th place. Robert GT is on 9 points. Rob Noxious in that Mercedes is on 5. Seb on 4. Frank Finch scored points on his return last week. He has got 2 points in the bag with Doko 13th on 1 and Sergeant Bassett on 1. Seeks and Edu both pointless after round 1. Obviously, with the teams championship going on, you have Snakes Unite Racing with Adam and Benji on 44 leading the way. From Falcon Fast GT, that's Ben and Nathan on 39. Rev Rascals with Dean and Rob M, or Rob Noxious, is on 26 in 3rd place. P&J Racing, Paul and Jamie in both the the Ferraris on 25. Empower GT with Papano and Seb, 15 points for their team. Hot Wheels Racing, Robert GT and Adam Marks or Sergeant Bassett, otherwise known as, on 10 points. Seeks and Frank Finch for Wooden Spoon Racing aren't in the Wooden Spoon position at the moment with 2 points. And Charging Ball Racing with Edu and Doko sit at the bottom of that table with 1. So definitely quite tight after rounds 1 and 2. But a good display really last time out from Adam, really. Just consistently on the podium.
Yeah, of course, he got podiums in both the races, I believe. He was, of course, beaten by Dean, which I don't think many expected in last week's feature race, but of course Dean then crashed out of the sprint, proving consistency is key. And even Nathan, who didn't win either of the races, got third in the championship, and he's not out of this yet. He's not expected to be a favourite for any race wins or championships, but if he can keep consistency, which is key for a lot of the drivers, he's not out of this.
No, I'm going to admit, I agree with you on that. I mean, I'll get it back up. I think it's always going to be tight in the first half of the season, really. I mean, you look at the standings, and even like Ben Milden in the Porsche, even though he's only 9 points behind, it's still very tight. You can definitely pull that back in a night, really.
Yeah, of course you don't want to have the 9-point gaps, but he's taken some solid points away from Watkins Glen, a track he didn't expect to be too quick at, to COTA, where I'm not sure how that Porsche will go. I hear he is struggling a bit with it, but of course he will have the momentum of finally winning a race after almost 4 seasons without one, and I'm sure it'll spur him on, and hopefully he can do something with that.
So as you watch Dean here in the Mercedes, he is currently sat in 11th, obviously not yet got a fast lap in, I would assume, being 6 seconds off the pace as Papano takes over provisional pole with a 204.775. From that is Nathan, and then Gaz in third. Now that's a surprise, Gaz in third at the moment, half a second off Papano. Can he pull that time back? Ben currently in fourth with a 206 dead. I think that's one of the Robs. I think that would be Rob Noxious in the Mercedes in fifth. 1.5 off the pace. Now it looks like a bit of a grouped up field here at the moment, Liam. You've got the top 4, then you've got your next 2 cars, and then really the rest of the field from that at the moment.
Yeah, this is nothing new for TNGTC. Of course, the final race of last season, we saw the top 4 separated by a couple of tenths and then nearly a second back to 5th place. So it's not unusual, but of course Gaz, we saw his opening lap and it was very, very messy, so I feel like he's got a lot more time to gain out of that. Maybe enough to move him ahead of Papano, but it certainly looks close amongst that top 4 just now, as I think Adam's going to break into it somewhere.
Certainly, as we watch Adam Morris now, the championship leader, currently put in a pole position time of a 2:04.111 to take Papano off that spot. That's a great time from the Audi driver, as we watch Edu, who is currently pointless right now. It's an interesting Lamborghini livery, I do like it.
Yeah, it's very bold and out there.
And boldly having a big slide to the inside of the corner.
We'll say he's on his Joker lap.
It's definitely...
Yes, he's probably doing this as it's his out lap, and of course there's only 20 seconds left in the session. So he's just trying to get around and start a lap before the timer cuts him off.
You'll have to be careful though. I mean, I don't know if the penalties are... or not. Obviously penalties are off, so you can get away with it. Not really the usual style of preparing for a lap, but
No,
it's worked.
I think he's going to do it. No, he's now realised.
So that is Edu there. Not set a time. So he'll be starting at the back of the grid in 15th.
Yeah, that was the reason the shortened qualifying was brought in, with the going from 20 minutes to 10 minutes. It puts so much more pressure on the drivers to get a lap in, and as we've seen with Edu, it doesn't always happen.
Have we lost a competitor here only 15 in, or is it just that's how many we started with? I think that's how many we started
I believe
with.
we started 15. I don't think Sebastian has turned up.
So that's not what Papano would have wanted for his team, for the team championship, I don't think.
And of course, Sebastian getting points last time in the sprint race, which I think even shocked himself a little bit.
But currently, it's the two Audis up front as Gaz moves up into second with a 2:04.5. Dean goes into the pits. That's Nathan completed qualifying, I'd assume.
Yeah, and that's like we have our grid.
That is qualifying over. So, Adam Morris pips Gaz to the pole. That is something most people wouldn't have expected tonight. I tell you, it's a good margin as well, 0.389. That's a lot of time to find round here.
Yeah, 4/10 is a chasm in racing, but you always feel Gaz, he can make that up in the race. He's always had very good, very consistent race pace, but maybe he's playing the team game for Adam.
Yeah, maybe orders are in that Adam, for the Drivers' Championship, goes ahead, but it would be nice to see a good fight for the lead there.
Yeah, it certainly would, and hopefully we get one, as you would say anyone down to 5th could be involved in it. Papano, Nathan and Dean, they could all get in the mix.
I think, yeah, you definitely got the top 5 in almost like class 1 there at 1.1 seconds, and then everyone else at the moment. If we look at the qualifying results, so Adam Morris does take pole position from Gaz. Papano in 3rd, Nathan in 4th, Dean is in 5th, Ben 6th, Rob M in 7th, Paul in 8th, Seeks is 9th, Robert GT is in 10th, Doko 11th, Jamie, that's a very poor qualifying, I'd say, from the Ferrari man there, in 12th. Adam Marks is in 13th, Frank Finch 14th, and Edu didn't set a time.
Yeah, very surprising qualifying performances there from the Ferraris. We've heard that they've struggled most of the week, but you thought it would have been a good track for them, considering back in Season 6 this race was won by a Ferrari.
How times change though, as we await the starting orders to commence. See that Audi lockout for row number 1. Can Gaz get a start on Adam and pull ahead of him? It'd be nice to see a good battle between those Audis, maybe bring in everyone.
Yeah, I feel Papano might struggle down into turn 1. The M6 is a notoriously slow starting car, so you feel he's going to have sort of maybe the next 2 rows behind him trying to attack him.
It's interesting. I think those Mercedes are going to be quite good off the line now. They were Rob made up good ground in Watkins Glen in the sprint race with it. But I think those Porsches should have good traction, in my opinion. They're not as powerful as the cars around them, but that should mean a nice, easier traction zone.
Yeah, and you certainly feel that the likes of Nathan and Dean will definitely get their elbows out and they will not hold back with this one.
It'll be interesting because Edu in that Lamborghini doesn't do any practice at all, so no one really knows what his pace is going to be.
Yeah, he has a lot of commitments to next gen that he says once they're all done, he's going to put a lot more time into this league, and of course, he is a very, very quick driver as we get ready.
So the game sinks in. We come up to 3 red lights here at the Circuit of Americas. Amber green, and up the hill they come for the first time of 19. Papano's got a very good start going, trying to get the inside of Adam there. Not quite able to do it as Gaz goes around the outside. The Mercedes battling it out on the outside as Dean tries to take 3rd place away there. Dean does take third place away. Papano now under attack from Scooby. Scooby goes around the outside. That's a fantastic move. Now Rob Noxious could get up alongside. That M6 is a bit of a bus, and that is someone off in the background. That's Edu in the Lamborghini. And that's more carnage behind. That's teammates. Teammates have either collided or unfortunately been collected. As we go back up to the third spot, Nathan is all over Dean like a rash as they come in to the hairpin left and onto the back straight. So a bit of a feisty start there, Liam.
Yeah, as we've still got it going on back here as Rob and Ben are going at it, but it doesn't look like anything's materialised. What about Nathan?
I think the Mercedes just a bit too quick down the back straight, but that's not the right line from Dean, and he's gonna lose it to Nathan. And Nathan around the outside can't quite make that one stick as they come to the Bahrain corner.
Of course, there might just be that little bit of bad blood because these two collided back at Watkins Glen. Dean putting Nathan into the wall on the straight.
There's Rob Noxious in 7th place. He's got Doko behind him. And there's Frank Finch. Not bottom of the pile at all. He's had a good start there, up into 11th. Obviously helped out by the two Ferrari men spinning in the Maggers and Beckett's type complex.
Yeah, it looks like both the wooden spoon drivers had a good start. Six is up to 9th.
As Edu puts Frank under pressure into turn 1. Can't quite get the move done though, but Frank runs wide again. That's going to allow Edu a chance around the outside. Can he keep it there? No, that's not going to work. You've got to be fully alongside into this section if you want to overtake.
As clearly something went a bit more wrong for Jamie as he is in the pits. Whereas Paul has been able to continue.
Makes me wonder if... Because I believe Paul started in front of him. I wonder if Paul lost it through the Maggers and Beckett's complex. And maybe got T-boned by Jamie.
I think actually we've lost Dean.
We have lost Dean. Dean is gone. He's not on the leaderboard. That's not good news for him in that Mercedes.
Rob's passed Ben somewhere.
Yeah, so maybe a mistake from Ben because Rob was under pressure from Dogo behind.
This is going to do Dean's championship no help. He's out the race. Adam's winning. Of course, this is the thing people say about Dean a lot. He has the one lap pace, but he just can't put it together over a race.
So we're here on lap number 2. As they come up to...
That's a very nice move from Ben.
Yeah, it's often the case round that corner. It's obviously a bit like Istanbul turn 8 in reverse. It can really set you up for either the penultimate or you can go around the outside or inside of it. So it's I do enjoy that turn when I drive, I must admit.
Yeah, it's very nice. There's something else happened to Edu as he's now
Behind
15
Paul.
seconds behind this lot.
Well, he's not just 50 seconds behind this lot.
Actually, Nathan looks like he's now going to put Gaz under some pressure, so he's getting on with the job.
I wonder, because Gaz is now 2.3 behind Adam. Bit of team tactics, maybe. Cause a bottleneck.
Yeah, Gaz's last lap was 1.6 seconds slower than Adam, so you wonder, did something either go really, really wrong, or is something wrong with his car?
Well, you think about, remember a feature race, mandatory pit stop, bottleneck from Gaz. That will mean that Adams will have an easier time trying to retain that lead after his pit stop.
Nathan's actually had the better run out the corner.
Now that Porsche isn't a slouch down the straight. Gets by him before they get down to turn 12. But Gaz straight back down the inside of him. He's having none of that. But Nathan keeps around the outside. He's on the inside now for T13. Is there a switchback available for Gaz? Through 14 and up to 15. Into 15 we come, and Nathan's still ahead. Just good driving from the Porsche man. Into turn 16, 17 and 18. Gaz right down the bumper of Nathan as we turn into turn 19. A bit wide, everyone's a bit wide, even Papano in the background, and up towards the final turn 20. But that's good driving for Nathan. He's got away as well. He's not only got past, he's starting to pull a gap.
Yeah, this isn't the Gaz we're used to, whether he's just having a couple of bad laps or he's just not happy with the car, but you would think he should be able to get past Nathan, but of course these two going at it has allowed the panel to get involved, as it looks like Rob and Doko are pretty close, as Seeks and Hall are in the pits, whether that's tactical or damage.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting one. We're down to 13 cars now.
Yeah.
And I don't see an Edu on the board.
No.
So
I feel
Edu,
like he obviously went off on lap 1, quite wide through the S's, and then must have had a spin somewhere else as he was 15 seconds behind, so whether he's had another spin and just given up, or whether he's just felt he can't do it, but hopefully we see him and Dean both back for the sprint race.
but that does mean though that Edu remains pointless in the championship after this round. Definitely not the start he was looking for.
If he can qualify for the sprint race, he should hopefully if he can just keep it clean, keep the car in a straight line, he should hopefully at least be able to pick up a couple of points and get himself off the tail of the leaderboard.
So as Papano is starting to hassle Gaz, almost like he's rusty Gaz at the moment.
Yeah, and Nathan has already got 1.5 seconds. Of the top 5, Papano is the fastest in the 2-minute 6s. Everyone else is low 2-minute 7s, apart from Gaz, whose last lap was a 2-minute 8.3.
But again, is this just him just doing a bit of tyre saving maybe?
Yeah, you can imagine the tyres get very, very hot around this track, lots of high-speed corners, and of course, America in the middle of the summer.
They come up to turn 1 then, for the 5th time.
Gaz feeling they need to go defensive against Papano.
Although a little bit of more gap, it looks like Papano may be a bit cautious into turn 1, making sure the car doesn't spin on him going over the crest, because let's be honest, that BMW is a bit of a bus for a GT car. It's not the...
Yeah, it's the heaviest of all the cars, of course. That brings the perk of the notorious curbs around here. It's probably the best car over them, but it's a slightly better lap from Gaz last time around with a 2-minute 7.6. But Nathan ahead of him, fastest on track, was 1.4 seconds quicker in catching Adam.
Yeah, he did pull a 10th on him on that lap. Will be interesting. It looks like Frank has still got Adam Marks for company in that 9th place. Very much for company at the moment as he's looking all over the place for a gap. Audi versus Ferrari. Adam looks to make the corner a bit squarer, gets the power down. So you go down the back.
Fighting in the points, not where I think they would imagine of themselves to be fighting, but it'd be interesting to see whether Paul, Seeks and Jamie all feel the need to do a second pit stop, or whether the tyres can hold out to the end. So if they can't, this is the next position for these two.
Oh, that was tight from the Ferrari man. Almost tagging the back end of Frank. You can just sense that Adam knows he's that bit quicker, but Frank's defensive game, definitely one of the hardest to play against by the looks of it. And a bit of a half spin there for Adam, clipping the curb on the inside.
Of course Frank does. He knows his stuff, does Frank. He's not an easy cookie to pass. And he'll know just where to position the car to stop Adam getting past him.
I think his style is very much like Rob Half, defends when he needs to and takes the racing line when he knows the bloke behind can't get anywhere near.
I do like on the previous laps, Gaz was back into the 2-minute 8, and so was Pano, who will obviously being affected by him, but so was Ben.
Yeah, so maybe tyre definitely coming into effect here. I mean, we are now 6 laps in. So you'd have to think that tyres are starting to go. Whether they're actually going a bit quicker than they thought could be interesting.
Yeah, of course, Nathan again, another 1/10.5 out of Adam. Looks like he's already taken a bit more out on this lap.
We continue to watch Frank defend beautifully from Adam Marks in that Ferrari. And I think Frank just got a bit of a wobble on from the curb. That's definitely a Joker lap line from Adam. To hit the brakes into the hairpin left and down the back straight.
Another little half spin from Adam there. It doesn't look like he's got much traction in that car. Whenever he comes out of a slow corner behind Frank, he just seems to lose it. So it looks like Gaz has just extended his gap over Papano a little bit, maybe a bit of breathing space.
Yeah, maybe Papano thinking no point in staying behind him, because trying to stay behind him might make the car overheat slightly. But maybe he's just thinking let Gaz relax a bit and maybe have an unforced error as well.
Yeah, again a slightly better lap from Gaz. He's going between the mid-7s to the low 8s. But Nathan, 6/10 out of Adam, he is going for this win.
Yeah, down to 1.7 now, the gap between the top two as we watch Doko over the back on the back of Robert GT. As looked very tentative on the brakes there from Doko. You can just see the front end dip, raise and then dip again, and was taking a few bites of the cherry. As they go through the Beckett's Light Complex.
And if these lot who haven't pitted don't need to again, it's looking alright for them, because Paul, Jonathan and Jamie are all going fastest of anyone up until Ben in 5th, so they're technically 6th, 7th and 8th fastest on the track.
I don't think their tyres are alive. They came in I think it was about lap 2 or 3, wouldn't it? They came in, so I think they will need another pit stop for tyres, as that's contact, and the rear wing is gone from Robert GT's Audi.
Yeah, so you feel they might both have damaged effects?
Well, I'd like to think that should make the Robert GT's Audi quicker, but on this game it doesn't.
Yeah, it should be quick down a straight, maybe not so much in the corners. Doko's car looks like it's swirling, so you suspect maybe he has suspension damage.
As we look at some concrete, there's Frank Finch. Still up there in 9th at the moment. Where these boys have got half a minute to the cars behind.
Yeah, a pit stop costs you about 40 seconds, so if this lot behind them can get away with not pitting, you feel they might get them. As we have lost Robert G, I believe.
Yeah, I believe Robert GT has now retired from the race.
As the other Rob Noxious, pits.
The first of the leaders to pit then. He's going to fall behind these two. I think
hasn't pitted, so feel he may not have any damage or not enough to force him in just yet.
To be honest, I think that would have caused Robert GT a lot more damage on the rear end. Losing the rear wing would not have been happy trying to get that back to the pits. So interesting decisions going on at the moment as Adam Morris still leading, and he's extended his gap now to 2.1. So maybe Nathan's used up all of his tyres now as they come towards
Nathan's last lap was 0.08 quicker, so not the half a second we were seeing that long ago, but
it'll be interesting because we're coming up to halfway on the race. Now in reality you probably want to try and pit around lap number 11 or 12. So just over halfway, so you've got a bit of extra tyre life for the end of the race than you do in the middle part.
Something's happened to Papano. He's now behind Ben. I saw his name dropping down the leaderboard there.
Maybe a spin on the curbs. Is that sort of area that is notorious if you clip the curbs.
Yeah, it looked like it was the corner at the end of the main straight. Yeah, back to your point. It would be ideal to pit around lap 11 or 12, but you'll start getting guys trying to undercut you. And of course, as soon as they do that, you have to react, so
I think
in an ideal world, yes, but you feel the likes of Nathan might just try and pit 1 or 2 laps before Adam, see if he can gain a little bit.
As Frank still defending from Adam.
Ben and Papano pit.
So now I see it as being a 2-stop race at the moment if they're pitting on lap number 8.
I don't think we've ever had a 2-stop feature. You feel it'll be 1, but of course you imagine this lot are just trying to get a couple of quick laps in. Of course Ben wasn't a million miles away from Gaz, so if Gaz is still struggling,
as
I feel Ben is doing this tactically.
Yeah, as Papano and Ben, has Ben made up a plate? No, Ben was already in front of him.
Yeah.
But Ben stays there. I believe that
Adam's definitely got some life in as he's dipped into the 2-minute 5s, pulling 6/10 on Nathan that lap.
Maybe this is what Adam was doing, letting Nathan use the tyres up whilst he saved him, and now it's time to go fast. Build the gap and then really pressure Gaz, pressure the people behind to pit early. Because you have to think you want the fresher tyres at the end, especially around here. Lots of traction zones.
See what they do. Will Adam pit in case of Nathan's undercut, or will he just stay out and think his 2-second gap is enough? But I think Papano was more forced into his pit stop because of spin, and your tyres get completely ruined by overheating.
It's interesting the fact that the back 3 who pitted really early are still running in those 2-minute 8s at the moment. Still going strong down there.
Yeah, as Adam is going straight in. What about Nathan?
He's going to follow him.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I'm surprised Nathan decided to go in then. As Gaz comes in. Hopefully no one's occupying each other's pit boxes as Jamie now retires from the race. We're down to 11.
Yeah, so he had a chance of points, but I don't think he will now.
There's Doko. I would have said that wasn't very quick to that penultimate corner. Lots of understeer. As he now comes into the pits.
Down to 50. Oh, looks like everybody's pitting. Frank.
Oh, Adam Marks
is the first to stay out.
Now
Nathan did. Right. What's happened to Nathan? He's still out on track.
I wonder if someone was occupying his pit box and he's had to take a drive-through.
So Nathan is at the end of Sector 1, Adam is there. There's a 16-second gap and it's about 40 for a stop. I wonder, have they forgotten to change Nathan's tyres? That's quite a common issue in this game. You drive in and you drive straight back out because they don't change your tyres. Of course, Nathan will have to re-pit for that, and that will drop him right down the order.
There's Ben currently sat in 5th. He's definitely made up some time on Papano since the pit stop. He's now up to 4 seconds to the BMW driver.
He's only got 2 seconds to Gaz, 2.5 seconds, so he's definitely made time up on him. If Ben can just put some laps together, and if Gaz hasn't solved whatever issue he had, Ben should be looking at another place here, and probably net second if Nathan's out the race. You feel Nathan's going to drop way down to the sort of lower midfield if he has to. Well, he will
that's
have to
Papano
start
having
again.
issues coming out of the hairpin, I think, running very wide in the BMW. Looks like he's managed to get away with it though. As we go back to Frank, who's got Rob Noxious just ahead of him. So Rob maybe making a mistake and Frank catching him back up.
You wonder if maybe Frank's had the same as Nathan. Has he maybe not changed his tyres? Because he looks awfully close to Rob for me. Or maybe not actually. Maybe
No, because Rob's
something.
last lap was a 2:34.
Yeah, that probably was his out lap. Oh, that was Frank's last lap. I wonder if Rob's had a mistake then actually, because he's now about 25 seconds behind Ben. And if you look, you've got Rob, Frank, Paul, Doko and Seat all within about 4 seconds, so this could get quite interesting.
There's Gaz. Nathan back in the pits. Nathan back in the pits. That is not what the Falcon fast driver wanted.
I wonder if he's changed tyres. Because he's too far up the order for me to think he has. But I wonder if since he's gone through, he's maybe going to try and finish the race in one set and, you know, maybe ask the stewards for forgiveness and feel that if he'd gone in 3 times, that was maybe just a bit too much. So I wonder if... I don't think they've changed his tyres again.
Yeah, he's only 18.
I'm not sure.
Although saying that, he was around the 15-second mark going into the pits, and he's about 20 out, so...
Yeah, actually, his last lap was a 2:47, so maybe he actually has. Maybe it's not as big of a pit stop loss here as it is normally, as this pack 5 are closing right up.
Remember, Adam now on the fresher tyres out of these two, came in a lap later. As they come up, this right-hander
was the quickest of this 5 last time round, so he's gonna look at this thinking he can get 7th.
And that's Adam going around the outside, getting forced off the circuit. And, oh, that's interesting lines as the Project Cars 2 cameraman do their absolute best job. There we go, as we see them go all onto the straight, and Adam's got a run on Frank.
Yeah, as we hear from Nathan, that he actually had the same pit box as Adam.
So Adam came in first, occupied the pit box, and that has sent Nathan all the way through.
Yeah, it's a very rare thing that happens on this game, but it's happened twice in 2 events.
I'm amazed it does that, considering you've got so many pit boxes around here.
Oh yeah, you've probably got 30 or so, and it managed to put 2 of them together, but Seeks has already made 2 places up in this battle pack, and you feel with this many cars so close that you'd be amazed if there's not a horrific crash at some point.
And other news from elsewhere, was Edu saying he got hit on lap number 1, and Jamie putting in complaints about curbs to the COTA management.
Yeah, of course we saw Edu going off as Seeks passes Adam Marks there, and he's alongside Frank.
You'd have to think that maybe, but unfortunately Seeks is now in front of them all. So good move from Seeks.
Mentioned earlier, Seeks was the fastest of this 5, and he's put it to good use. We're hoping he can break away.
That puts Frank into 9th now. Adam Marks into 8th. Doko and Paul are fighting out for that final point. That's amazing, the fact that the last battle on the circuit is quite literally for the points.
Yeah,
Whoever...
5 of them can't go into 4, so unfortunately one of these guys is going to have to miss out on getting some points, but I'm sure they'll all give it their absolute maximum to make sure it's not them, which should give us a good battle.
As Seeks comes down the back straight, they're all in tow.
Yeah, and back up the front, it looks like Gaz has fixed whatever his problem was, as he is now matching Adam.
Wonder if you got a bit of damage from somewhere, Gaz.
Yeah, it's very possible, but someone who's doing a bit more than just matching is Papano, who was into the mid 2-minute 5s last lap and is in a 2-minute 6.1.
But now you've got Nathan in an 05, in a 205.8. Obviously, the freshest tyres of the front bunch has Nathan. And he's...
Yeah, you feel that battle for 3rd place is going to close right up between Ben, Papano and Nathan, but of course, Papano's going to be fighting 2 teammates. I'm sure some tactics will be involved from the Falcon Fast GT drivers.
As Doko looking up the inside of Frank into turn 1. This to take 9th place. Frank concedes it into turn 1, so Frank moves down to 10th. A good move from Doko, set up from the previous corner. And you'd have to think Paul now fancies his chances at getting in the points.
Yeah, it's quite a reversal from last week, seeing Paul up fighting, you know, get into that top 5 for the sprint race, but sitting here, seeing him fighting for the last point, I'm sure he's going to want to fix that for next week.
So as looking at the gap, it's only a second now between Ben and Papano. And Nathan has lost a bit of... Has he lost a bit of time on this lap so far?
Because he's 1.9 will get his lap times next time he goes round.
Papano definitely closing in now on Ben. He was about half a second quicker on the last lap. As they come into the penultimate corner for the 13th time. As Nathan runs really wide, you have to think that you can't keep doing that all the time.
No, if another driver spots you doing that, they are perfectly within their rights to complain to the stewards, but Papano looks like it's just a matter of time before he starts putting some moves on Ben.
2059 from Papano, a 2060 from Nathan.
Ben has 2 quicker drivers behind him, 2 drivers who are about a second quicker, so it's creating a bit of a bottleneck at the moment. He's probably sitting willing Nathan to just come along and help him out.
As they come onto the main straight, Frank Finch still has Paul behind him. Paul tries to fill his mirrors a little bit, not quite going to work. Frank is a bit too wide to that one. A bit of a tap into turn 1 as well, I think. Paul into the back of Frank there, but not gaining the position. As Papano now really reeling in Ben. Down the backside. That Porsche's bloody quick in a straight line.
Yeah, it was a very hard card slipstream. If it was in your slipstream, it seemed to gain far more than any other car. Although I'm not surprised to get into BMW. That thing probably does punch a great big hole in the air. Ben is not... oh, collision into the Bahrain turn. Papano trying to go down the inside. Ben potentially unsighted on that one. Didn't see him. Went to turn in. Yeah, I feel like that one was maybe because Papano misjudged a bit where Ben was and just drifted wide into him. Of course,
I think
Pano
it
came
would.
under quite a bit of criticism for that crash last week at Watkins Glen, the crash in the last lap of the feature race. Is you feel if Pano doesn't return the place, he's going to get into a bit of trouble, as both of them will surely have some damage.
Yeah, I think Ben will definitely have a bit more on that rear left suspension. That was a big knock he took in the Porsche. I think it was a bit of both ways, but at the end of the day, Papano I think has to give the place back.
And if he doesn't give that place back, you expect him to see him in the steward's room, because Ben will not be happy about that one. Someone I've known for a long time, he's going to be raging at that. He was on for a potential podium, and now I don't think he even has the gap to pit back to Rob, so he's just going to have to carry on with it for these last 5 laps.
Obviously, if it does go to the stewards, they've got a hell of a lot more angles than we do at the moment. They can get all the onboards and go back in time. As we continue to watch Ben trying to recover from the crash, but that does put Nathan up into 3rd on that podium.
Yeah, I'm sure Nathan's very happy with that one. It'll be interesting to see what Pano and Ben's lap times are next time they come round, as it doesn't look like we've got many cars too close on the track. It looks like Paul and Sergeant Bassett are closest, as
Adam Marks has had an issue.
Yeah, he was running up in 8th behind 6, but he's down to last, and
maybe a spin.
That's happened to Paul as well. He's now 4 behind Frank.
I wonder if there's a bit of a spin for Adam, and Paul maybe took a bit of evasive action.
Yeah, Paul's last lap was 2 minute 19, and Adam Marks' last lap was a 2 minute 25.
Oh, that's very wide from Paul there. That should allow Adam up the inside and through into the point-paying positions. So at the moment, Paul is the one driver not getting points, and that's, I'm sure, not what he wanted coming into this. As much as the Ferrari struggled, I'm sure he would have hoped to be moving forward in the race. Oh, and Paul down the inside now of Adam Marks. Collision. And that's forced Adam Marks off the road.
Again, that's going to be another one. You feel Paul might have to give that one back.
I think that was a tough one because Paul was fully alongside going into that corner. So he did have the line.
With the angle we had, it was hard to tell whether they actually collided on the apex or just wide of it, but Pano and Ben definitely struggling. They're about 2 seconds off what we expect them to be doing. Both down in the mid to low, 2 minute 8. It's Frank pits.
There's an interesting time to pit for Frank.
Had he pitted already? I thought Frank had already pitted.
I thought he did as well. Maybe he's got a bit of damage or something.
Yeah, he's got some damage, or he feels he doesn't have enough fuel. They had about 20 litres. I'm not sure how much they use a lap, but I feel that would have been enough to do 5 laps, 4 laps.
Yeah, considering Paul isn't too worried at the moment, and he's got 12 litres of fuel left.
Yeah, 12 litres. That's about 3 a lap. I'm not sure how much the Ferrari uses, but I think he's going to be just about alright, as Adam Marks is actually coming back at him. Quite aggrieved, clearly, of what happened.
Very late on the brakes as well. He really does have confidence in his Ferrari.
Oh, was they getting very close there?
That's Adam down the inside, and I wonder if that's Paul making it a bit easier for him after the incident.
Oh. I feel like these two are maybe not happy with each other.
As Paul gets right back past him again. No, I have to say, Paul gave that up fairly easily, so I wonder if he did just let him by. Joined
Something
that
else
too.
that's happened. Papano is now behind Ben. Only just by about a second.
I think Papano's always been behind Ben, hasn't he, since the pit stops?
Yeah, of course they had their coming together and Papano was ahead of Ben.
Oh yeah, of course he
Whether
did.
Papano has made an error or he eventually decided, wondering because he's
Bit
so
on
close
wide
to
there
Ben,
for
maybe
Paul.
thought, I'd let you go, maybe I figure it's my fault, but...
As Adam Marks tries again to go up the inside here of Paul. They hit the brakes up into turn 1. Oh, that's a lovely switch back from Paul. Beautiful
just
move.
earlier on, Adam's car doesn't look like it has much traction out the slow corners.
You have to think Frank has kind of ruined his own race here by pitting.
Oh,
And there's
they've touched
contact.
again.
Adam in the wall. Paul gets away with it. Adam trying a move. The slightest bit of contact sending both cars spinning.
Yeah, Adam's come off that worst. He's gone into the wall. Not sure how much damage he has, but he has the bonus of that he has about 16 seconds to Frank and 3 laps. So unless his car is really, really damaged, he should be able to limp it home for some points.
And I have to say that one, in my opinion, was definitely Adam's fault. Trying to get on the inside of that sector, you have to be fully alongside, in my opinion.
Yeah, it looked a bit optimistic. I don't think he can even really pass in the second part of the S's. It's more got to be the first part, and you've got to have a good run out of turn 2
As
to even
Ben
be close enough.
and Papano now. The gap closing. Not by a lot. That's very wide from Ben. And that is not going to help him through these S's. And that should be Papano through. Or not.
Ben was a little bit cheeky there, realising he'd messed up, and rather than fight it, just to boot it, but it looks like he has backed off to not gain anything.
Papano now will be looking maybe into this final sector again. He hits the brakes, late on the brakes, gets it stopped and turned in. That's not a good line from Ben, couldn't get the power on, but I think Papano took a bit too much curb, so he's gone away with it.
Something else we might see on the last lap is Nathan on gas, as he was 1.2 quicker on the last lap. She's got about 1.5 to 2 seconds between them.
I think Adam Morris is going to be quite pleased with this race. He's just stayed at 10 seconds all race line long.
And of course, his main rival Dean taken out of it. Nathan, who was going to be the one pushing him, having a pit stop error. Ben and Papano taking each other out, and Gaz just not seemingly on it this time.
As we continue to watch this battle for 4th place. Papano doesn't seem like he can actually get close enough to Ben at the moment to even think about trying a move. As Adam starts his final lap of the feature race.
And of course, Papano will have front damage, so he'll have a lot of understeer, whereas Ben will have oversteer. So I'm sure being stuck behind the Porsche and getting even more weight from the car in front won't make that front damage feel any better.
Let's go out of turn 1, into turn 2. Good run from Ben. Looks like he should... Oh, a cheeky cut again from Ben. Using all the red stuff. Look at Papano just trying almost every line at the moment to get somewhere near. Now these guys are over 20 seconds behind Adam, who's currently leading. Gaz is still 1.5 in front of Nathan here at the moment. As we go to our race leader, we've not seen much of him. Mainly because he's just been out in front. I think he was definitely helped out the fact that he occupied his rival's pit box, even though he wasn't even in the same team.
Everyone else seems to have fallen by the wayside, whereas Adam has kept it clean and kept it consistent.
Comes through the penultimate corner up to turn 20 for the 19th and final time in this feature race. He comes onto the main straight and it's going to be Adam Morris who takes the feature race win here at COTA. Flash of the lights. Bit of weaving. He's going to be happy with that result as Gaz on his return takes second place. Not the pace we would have expected from him, but a good result for the team nonetheless. A 1-2 for the Audis. And contact into the final corner, Ben and Papano. And you can tell Ben is not happy with that.
No, Papano has kept the place, and 2 incidents with Ben. You feel for the second week in a row.
I think I
come under a lot of criticism.
I think I spotted a bit of revenge that from Ben. It looked like he was going to go into the back of Papano. Don't think he did.
Papano's going to get a lot of criticism after this one.
Rob Noxious. Very quiet race, but he comes home in 6th. He'll be happy with that result. Just don't do a Roman Grosjean now. Seeks 44.
Race.
Good race from Seeks, finishing in 7th. Good points for Wooden Spoon Racing. Here comes Doko. Another man who's been a bit quiet. In 8th place, just minding his own business. Paul is still ahead of Adam. Adam is, I think he's had a bit of another crash or something because he's now about 15 seconds down.
That damage that he would have got might have just slowed him down.
So Paul comes home for 9th place and more points. Not the night so far the Ferrari boys wanted, as here comes Adam Marks. He'll keep that final point. Frank Finch, you have to feel that second pit stop really did cost him. Cross the line running for that final point.
And
here comes Frank Finch. He's still pleased with himself. He's finished 11th.
Yeah, a solid race from Frank. Without that second pit stop, you feel 9th might have been possible.
So the final results here from the feature race at the Circuit of Americas. Adam Morris takes the win quite comfortably in the end from Gaz, Nathan Papano, Ben Milden, Rob Noxious, Seeks, Doko, Paul, Adam Marks, and Frank Finch at the back there. Rob GT, Jamie, Edu, Dean, all retiring from this race. A couple of big names that is retiring from COTA. So what would be your driver of that race then, Liam?
There's 2 potential people. You've got to say Adam for just controlling the race, making it look easy out there, and the main man charging through, I've got to say, Jonathan. He did a brilliant job to come back from the back of the field after being one of the people to stop early to get 7th.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go with Nathan on that one. The fact that he had practically a drive-through penalty and still came home in 3rd is quite impressive, in my opinion there.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to see what he did if he didn't have to do that.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to take a short break. This is the end of the feature race stream, so join us in about 5 minutes for the sprint race. We will catch you in a few minutes.